You are now tuned in to Rolling with Rock podcast. Is this thing even on?
Yellow bags on the track.
Vibe check, baby.
My G. Welcome.
Man, I'm glad to be here.
This is a fun place to be, man. We made it. We've been talking about podcasting for long enough now. Probably 2018. What year is this? 2012? 2022?
22.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years. So, welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you, man.
Welcome back to the next episode of Rolling with Rock podcast. It's your boy Rockin'. Today I got my dog Tim with me. Tim, what's good?
Not much, man. How you living?
I'm out here, man. I've been staying busy. I'm sure you've seen me on the internet making my new moves in comparison to how we both started. You know, I know we knew each other. Actually, we didn't know each other at all until about 4 years ago. But when I finally got to meet you, it seemed like I've been knowing your ass forever because every time we talk, we have some of the best debates. As a matter of fact, I forgot to write one down, and I think you know which one I'm talking about. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Chris Brown or Usher?
Usher, man.
Get out of here!
There's no debate here.
Chris Brown or Usher, man, and I gotta know why. Me and the rest of the Chris Brown fans have gotta know because this debate has been going on long enough, and there's so many people that say Usher, and there's so many people that say Chris Brown. And for me and you, we've been going back and forth for years now. Whether who's gonna take the crown for the best in the R&B game, bro?
I mean, we would say that's R. Kelly, right? Someone said that would be like the best.
Who?
The world, man.
The whole world?
And that's not up for really debate. That's not to be debated. But like, if you want to talk about second place, we can talk Usher.
Okay.
And then maybe Chris Brown.
I mean, there's a few artists I'll probably put above R. Kelly. Now, to say R. Kelly is in comparison up there with Chris Brown and Usher is, to me, blasphemy. But I do got to give R. Kelly his flowers because, bro, a lot of his music got us through damn near all of our fucking adulthood and just like childhood. Now, he did some sick shit. He did some nasty.
We're not talking about this man's personal life. We're talking about it's like the whole
just the
Kobe
music.
thing. Like, it's just the music. We're talking about just the music here. You can't. It's not really up for debate.
I agree.
I Believe I Can Fly, Ignition, stuff like that.
12 Play.
Yeah.
12 Play came in at a year. See, I was maybe 7 years old when 12 Play came out. So technically, I wasn't even supposed to be listening to that shit. But you got what's it?
Trapped in the Closet.
The Trapped in the Closet sequence was in fucking insane for one. That was the first 3. I was locked in. After he made it to 10, I was like, all right, it's a bit much. Bro, I had 55 chapters. We got Trapped in the Closet. A midget came out at one point. I lost track, bro.
But y'all listen to him. That's what I'm saying. That's how locked in. That's how good this man is as an artist. It's
Now,
like,
he did make a movie or some type of like a series about all these Trapped in the Closet things, but I haven't checked them out. And I would, but he just had too much shit going on during that time for me to jump on board and be like, all right, I'm gonna support him, you know, full throttle, full regalia.
Right.
So I didn't want to dive in and get myself into something that's gonna backfire on me for supporting him when he had all that sick shit going on.
Yeah.
But I do remember in high school, I was such a big fan of his that we started this, there was this group in theater and it's called Damn, Doggone Amazing Music. But we make music videos. I did a little Chris Brown music video, Run It, because of course Chris Brown's the GOAT, as we mentioned. But I did a Trapped in the Closet sequence, bro. I did. Me and like 2 other girls and another dude, we did a Trapped in the Closet. So I've always been a fan, but I still wouldn't put him up there with the greats. Not the R&B greats like Chris Brown. And now the catalogs are good, but I don't know if his catalogs can compete with Usher.
in a Verzuz,
In a Verzuz.
there is no one in a Verzuz that can compete with R. Kelly.
Nobody?
No.
Chris Brown.
And he is the king of R&B, right?
To an extent.
No. There's no.
Can we give him years? Can we say the years that he was the king?
No.
The Pied Piper?
No. It is
Always and forever.
He's the greatest.
If I could see it. That's my shit.
It's still going. That came out in the 90s. We're talking about this 20 years later, 20, 30 years later.
What do you think he would be today if he wasn't as sick as he is? What do you think R. Kelly would stand today in music? Being that he had that vocal, he was a genius vocally. He was like the Whitney to like the male Whitney does. He was doing shit with his vocals and his songs that we ain't heard dudes do like in a while. And I ain't talking about the like Gerald Leverts and the old school G's who was singing first, but like he had some swag to him, he had some hip hop to him. Fiesta. That was my shit one. But he got the cookout music.
Exactly. But he would be exactly where he is now, regardless. So if we're just talking about pure music, right, that you can't, it's not up for debate. Now, what you can say is up for debate is Chris Brown versus Usher thing.
Okay.
Right?
Boy.
But even then, we gotta say in a versus, right, it's Usher.
Explain why. I'm very curious as a Chris Brown fan. Why would Usher win in a versus?
I was listening to T-Pain's podcast. He was saying he could beat anybody
In a versus?
He said, except for maybe R. Kelly and Akon, right?
Why is he putting Akon's discography up with it?
R. Kelly. But it's just like the music. He said, man, I'm in love with stripper or something like that.
Okay.
How do you throw that against someone, right? Now against Usher, right?
Okay.
And Chris Brown, like.
Now you got dancers.
You got we're not talking about
singers.
We're talking about pure music.
Just music.
Right? Just music.
Just music
here. Right?
Okay.
We got Burn, Confessions 1 and 2.
Okay.
Right? We talking about Hey Daddy. We like they're
Daddy's Home.
Yeah. We talking about.
We ain't even went through
We didn't went through. I'm just telling you stuff that's kind of more recent. Not even talking about
Climax, what is it? Moving Mountains. Don't get me wrong, I am an Usher fan.
Thank you.
So I will say, I'm an Usher fan. If Usher came on, I'm not skipping that song.
Exactly.
If I run out of Chris Brown songs to listen to, I'll listen to Usher. If you get what I'm saying. But to me, and this is just maybe it's a me thing, or maybe it's just everybody can get connected to a certain artist and have their attachment to him, because you named all those dope hits by Usher. You still got a whole 10 albums Chris Brown dropped with at least 5 bangers on each album. Some of those albums Usher got, like Confession, that was one album where you can listen to at least 5 songs on it. You can't name another Usher album. Okay, never mind, because 92701 or whatever, 927.
I'm saying you can listen to
that was a good one.
Confessions album from start to finish without skipping a song.
You can do that with 6 Chris Brown albums,
no,
bro. What?
No, you can't.
Does Chris Brown bother you?
No.
What about him don't you like? I want to know.
No, I'm gonna tell you cannot do that, Chris. I haven't heard one album that you do.
Is this a light skin versus dark skin thing?
No.
Come on, man. What is this about?
Usher basically light skin too.
He got light skin tendencies, bro. He really do. He's dancing in the street because she reminded him of a girl. Like, he did the same shit Chris Brown did.
You hear it now, right? You're over here telling me about all the stuff that Usher did, not enough about what Chris Brown did. Now, why would you pick Chris Brown over Usher?
Here's why I would pick Chris Brown over Usher. First of all, again, the flower ceremony to Usher. Usher did this shit in the 90s. Usher did it in the 2000s.
Okay.
And in the 2010s, Chris came out in like 05, 06.
He was with the Give Me That.
Give Me That. This was young Chris. He was a high schooler, so the hype wasn't big, but he was noticed. We know who that kid is.
Yeah.
T-Pain came in and helped him do Kiss Kiss. After that, 20-year-old Breezy literally took over the world. You didn't even hear about Usher anymore. Okay, I take that back. Usher was relevant, but there was somebody on the rise. Now in the 2020s come out. Now Breezy has redeemed himself after all of the Rihanna slash and all the, he's a mean person, and everybody made their mistakes. And I think that with him, the industry is what killed him. When he did that, that killed his industry fame. So now his name had to be rebuilt. He tarnished it a little bit. The music that he put out was still making platinum, gold, and all these other albums. And this is with his back against the wall. The world pretty much hates him. He ain't getting awards or even nominated for awards that he should have been getting, like no comparison. And he's still making good music. Every album that he's dropped since he's brought his name back from tarnishment has been gold, legit gold. So to me, he never fell off since he got on that high train to catch up to the Usher. So I'm not saying Usher wasn't once here, but he's still there, and Breezy's just slowly. That's why I think in a versus today, I guess you'd have to read the room. If the room is full of 30-year-old, upper 40s, 50, Usher finna get a lot of votes. But when you get these 20, 18, 19, and younger 30-year-olds who still listen to Chris Brown ain't gonna lie, man. I think generationally he's made his way back up, and he's gonna win a versus. Because there's only so many songs that Usher got that can top anything from Indigo or Heartbreak on a Full Moon, in my opinion. That's why I got to go with Chris Breezy on the verses.
There's only 20 songs.
On what?
On the verses. What you talking about?
Man, that's a half of Chris. Breezy got an album with 42 songs on it. One album, bro.
There's only 20 songs. And you trying to tell me that his 20 is better than Usher's 20?
Chris Brown's 20 gonna top Usher's 20.
Absolutely.
But we gonna jam to all 40 of them.
Yeah.
All songs, we finna all be up and move into it. But just like Gucci and Jeezy, man, they both like legends, but somebody had to walk away saying, hey, he killed that.
Yeah.
He killed that. That's Chris Brown and Usher to me. I feel like Chris Brown's gonna walk away with the sweat towel and they're gonna shake at the end, but Breezy's gonna get his respect back. One, for being compared to a GOAT, Usher. But now Chris Brown is also known as a GOAT, and to me, the GOAT.
Who is referring to this man as the GOAT?
Me.
Outside of you.
Me and all the Chris Brownyites out there.
You just gave him the name?
You know my 4-year-old wants to have a Chris Brown birthday party. She told me.
She don't know. She doesn't know about Usher because you have to put her on top of the name.
And I do. I play Michael Jackson. I'll play Usher. I'll play any type of genre music in reference to Chris Brown, but she always goes back and that's her favorite artist because lyrically he's greatness, man, and you get to watch him perform too. He's the closest thing to Michael Jackson. Am I wrong?
I'll give you that.
He's the closest thing to Michael Jackson.
Performance-wise.
Now, Usher still got, what did he have? He had a residency in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And Usher's, he's still moving. Think of what, 50?
Exactly.
40?
And that's what we're talking about, right? Is that like this man is literally 40 to 50. If you're that old, you're not supposed to make music anymore, man. You're done.
And
your time is over. And
he still got it.
And this man is still relevant right now.
I give him his GOAT status. But he's not taking Breezy in a Verzuz battle. That's just an opinion of mine, and I feel like I would love to see it. I don't know if this came to fruition yet. I was on Instagram and I seen some people talking about it, but I don't know if that's actually gonna happen or if Usher's even up for it because he doesn't want to take this L. I get it. I understand, man. I wouldn't want to take it either, but that's one thing I would love to see for sure. And, you know, it's summertime, man. If they're going to do this versus battle, they need to go ahead and give it to us now because it's Hoochie Daddy season. So for all the daddies out there with the Hoochie Daddy shorts and all the mommies out there with the sundresses, I want to say shout out to y'all, and I hope y'all are having a fantastically hot day. How you feel, man? It's Hoochie Daddy season. We back in, man. How you feel about that?
Look, man, that Hoochie Daddy stuff is really for single people.
Come on,
that is strictly for single people. If you're a married person like myself, right, that stuff is not for you. Leave that stuff alone.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Please do explain.
Look, I don't know any wife that's gonna walk out there and buy their husband some Hoochie Daddy shorts.
But there's wives out there right now doing it.
Buying them some Hoochie Daddy shorts.
They got to. I'm telling you, I don't even think it's a. What do you think it's like a sex sale thing?
It's a sex sale thing, 100%. Just like Sundress season.
What about you wearing a tank top? Would you wear a tank top?
Yeah.
To show the guns off, right? Or it's just hot?
No, sometimes it's just hot. But
now, why can't you raise it? Why can't you show the knee off then? What's the difference?
It's not about the kneecap, and you know that.
What is it about? It ain't like the balls are hanging out the end or something.
It's about the great pants print. That's what it's about, and everyone knows that, right?
It can happen, but how do you prevent that?
You can't, and that's what it's about. It's like, hey,
it's inevitable for the print to show, so it's just gotta show.
If me as a single person went out there in some Hoochie Daddy shorts, right, and the print showing, it's gonna get some attention. It's gonna get some attention. Somebody will be like, oh, let me try to holler this chocolate.
So what about sundress season? What about sundresses? Do all women who wear sundresses go out and wear them just to get that cheek printage out?
I think it's to get a good few looks, 100%.
Is there anything wrong with that? Even married?
I think you're looking for validation from other people. Right?
What if you don't ask for it?
Married, it's a little bit different. Like you definitely shouldn't be doing it because you're definitely looking for validation from the wrong people. But if you're single, man, do what you want, man.
Can I say something? As a single man,
yeah,
validation really ain't out there. People really ain't just like, hey, you with the shorts on. Like the girls really ain't even hollering like that. So when you wear it nowadays, or if girls wear sundress nowadays, you don't really get too many cat calls. It's kind of gotten played out that you would even speak to a girl anymore. And that goes off to another topic that we about to hit.
Okay.
But this is a prime example of like, even if girls wear sundresses, even if dudes wear the Hoochie Daddy shorts and they show the knee or they got the print, people really ain't hollering like people would think they would. Now, if you post it on the internet, that's a completely different world. You finna get comments, likes, DMs finna be blowing up. It's just finna be crazy. That's the internet.
Right.
Walk your ass down the street and go down. They finna say one word to you. Not a single word. So I sometimes have to ask myself, is it really for validation? Or are we just wearing it because, you know what, this is it now. I'm comfortable, it's dope. I kind of like the knee showing thing. I ain't even got the right knees, but I'm still gonna rock the hoochies, man.
I hear you, right? And my knees is showing right now and I gotta enjoy it.
It's killing me.
All right, vibe check, baby.
Because I don't think it's too late. At 9, 10 years old, these are perfect age, I feel like, for kids to have a banking account. Not to use, But to go ahead and start putting those allowances in there. Go ahead and start throwing instead of giving them allowance like we used to get back in the day, or here's your $10 for the week. Why don't you do that same concept if you can, and drop that money inside of an account that's going to make them money. I don't know if banking's the best route. Maybe crypto or some other form of...
I'm not a huge fan of crypto.
No?
Don't understand it. I can't get behind anything I don't understand.
Okay.
Right? Yes, I would say, like, sure, you can say banking is the right route, but it's more important to teach them about handling money. Right?
Credit-wise?
Credit is...
Like money they owe back and borrowing it
and stuff like that, right? But like, hey, you have $20. Another thing my mom taught me, right? We're going back this
for sure.
This thing called FICA.
For sure.
Right? So she'd give me $20, right? And then she'd be like, hey, and she'd take $5 of it, and she'd be like, that's FICA, right? And then she'd take another $5 and be like, hey, that's for rent, right? So
a little piece.
Right. And like this whole time that like I'm growing up, I'm like, man, this is bullshit.
This ain't fair.
Yeah, right. It's bullshit. But now I got to the real world and I understood it. Like I saw a fight come out my pay. I'm like, what? Oh,
that's big coming out. That's big coming out.
Right. So like I understood taxes. I understood like having to pay for like different things, rent, like a mortgage or something like that. Because like she already took it, and she took that money and then put it into a bank account for me. Right. So like it's not like it was going somewhere. It wasn't going nowhere.
That's
smooth. It was going somewhere. Right. So I always learn how to handle the money, right? And I think that's what's important is that like, hey, teaching people how to handle the money once they have it. Because like, hey, you have X amount of dollars, right? But how do you handle it?
Do you feel like that set you up like for what you got today, or is that more of a you learning on your own type thing? Now the FICA thing helped you gather that part, but it wasn't an advantage for you, and you witnessed it through other people's mistakes, other people's financial mistakes, or did you have your own? Did FICA not prepare you for the ugly of the world? It got you ready, but it still happened.
It prepared me for the real world, right?
But it still happened.
Ugly. Yeah,
it's ugly out here.
It's ugly out here.
It is so bad.
And I can tell people like this, like, hey, if you don't have to be in debt, don't be in it, right? And so you don't have to stunt, you don't have to do all that stuff,
yeah.
Right? Because like, so if like you're doing it for the people in the world, they don't care. Not realistically, they do not care
at all.
Doing it for women. At the end of the day, they're gonna ride in the beater. They're gonna ride whatever. And they do not care as long as it gets you from A to B, right? And like, so just pay it off if you can't pay. If you want to build credit, like, hey, you know what? Like, pay most of it off, and then like have like a year's worth of stuff built it. But like when you take a loan, it knocks your credit down, right? And that's what people don't get. It's like
society hasn't really gotten people into a point to where they can be. You can be comfortable rich. You don't have to stunt. You could have all the money in the world and be chilling, not let anybody know. You ain't gotta have the newest, the nicest, or the flashiest. But why is it the very first thing most people run to? Is it a comfort? Is that just like a something like? I know that's not something. That's never been the type of thing I've actually witnessed you live through. I've actually witnessed that you live the complete opposite. You can have all the money in the world, bro. You can be chilling. We can go eat 4 for 4 from Wendy's, man. Still go work out, and get it out of our system.
Yeah.
But you ain't gotta eat the 5-star restaurants. You ain't gotta drive around in the Maserati. Could you? For sure. I think a lot of people need to adapt that type of behavior when it comes to that. Because this is how we get into debt, is by trying to maintain, like I mentioned, maintaining the shit that you do buy when you spend all this money to buy it.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
You buy it.
The Joneses will have you broke, man. The Joneses will have you real poor out here.
I'm still in the same car. I've come across a lot of money in the past few years. I ain't bought nothing crazy, and I feel like that's me being humble. I ain't never had that much to play with.
You don't have to buy a new car. You don't have to have you were saying, right? The shiniest item. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because the wealthiest people have like kind of older stuff. They hold on to stuff for like 8 years, even if they don't like it. Right? I know.
You know how you said, we mentioned something earlier, you don't know what you don't know?
You don't know what you don't know.
So if we don't know or see rich people, how do we know how to act when we become rich? Those are the mistakes that we end up making.
Like I said earlier, it's figuring out how to push it to the next generation, right? Like
Generationally?
Getting the financial advisor, like getting people that's gonna actually help you be great or like keep your money. And I don't think there's not enough people out there that want you to actually do that, right? Some people are always willing to take from you, but not
then help you get back up to where they are. We're gonna take a quick little break. When we come back from this little break, we'll chop it up on some more topics that we talked about. So y'all stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this
Now
little break.
tuned in to Rolling with Rock podcast. Is this thing even on?
Vibe check, baby.
All right, y'all, welcome back. We had a quick little break, and sorry about the audio mix-up that we had. We had a few technical difficulties, but we getting that fixed now, so we should be good in the microphones. Welcome back. I talk too much, man. Sometimes I feel like I talk too fast, but on the second part of this show, I wanted to touch base on you with a topic that we kind of skimmed over a little bit, and it's the in-person communication.
Right.
Based on what social media has done to our society. I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
It has destroyed our society as a whole, right? Instead of like, people are, first of all, let me say that people just are not okay with rejection as a whole, right? But someone will literally see you walking on the street and then send you a text message, send you an Instagram or whatever.
Won't speak to you in person.
Won't speak to you in person, right? And like, that is because of social media, right?
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm one of them. There's a lot of people that I meet through people, or a lot of people that I meet through like social media. How do I know you? Oh, I think we're friends on Facebook, or I think we're friends on Instagram. That's how I know people. But until we meet in person, I ain't met you yet. So I'm not going to walk up to you and say nothing. But that is very true. Because a lot of the times it happens to me. I'll give a little wave, hello, a shout out or something to somebody who I know I follow, and they don't have a clue who I am. Because they only know me through social media and what I post. And it's not always me.
Right.
Now, my question for you is, as a person who is, would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert for sure.
For sure. I feel like you're an introvert.
Yeah.
How would that affect you when you don't even talk to people out there in the streets anyway?
Well, I mean, just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you don't like to be spoken to as a human, right?
Yeah.
Like, if someone says hey to me, I'm gonna say hey, right? Because I'm human. Like, that's the kind of right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. But as a whole, like, we should just speak to each other, right? Like, why do we gotta go through our phones to like sit around and be like, hey, how you doing, or whatever? Just walk. If you see someone, say something like, hey, man, how you doing, whatever.
Compliments aren't even, you can't even do it no more.
You can't.
Where's a compliment going to get you today? Like, weirdo, creep. Why would you? Hey, man, nice dress, nice shirt. First, we can't even say stuff like that. It's like we're hitting on them or something, or it's got to be some form of a catcall. Like, why can't we just appreciate that now? Maybe being afraid of hurting people's feelings now has gotten us to where we just shut the fuck up in person now, because you don't know what people are going to do or say. That's the closest thing I can get to thinking about what the reasons why we don't speak, but I definitely agree that it's become an issue now that social media exists.
Right. I think there's a time and a place, right? So, like, if it's super late at night, like, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, right? You're out in the streets and like you see somebody in a nice dress and you're like, hey, that's not the time to do it.
That's
right?
true. Okay.
It's not the time to do it. But
well
like,
said.
hey, 7 o'clock, you know what I mean? Like Usher said, 7 o'clock on the dot.
I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets.
Cruising the streets, right? You see somebody look nice. That is a perfect time to say, hey, how you doing? To speak to someone, right? And I think a lot of people have like gotten away from that. It's like just respectfully just speaking to each other, but like saying it at the right time. And like social media, like you're like, you know what? I saw her at this time. I'm just gonna hit her up right now. Because like then she'll get to me when she gets to me because it's on that.
We already know ain't nobody gonna respond the second that you send something. So if you comment on something, or even if you like a picture, you're not even expecting a response immediately. Worrying that you need to get that response back, that's gonna cause like some form of anxiety for you anyway. So people just send it and they cross their fingers and hope for the best,
right? For
the most part. But it's still awkward because now people do more talking online than they do in person. And that's not even when it comes to like hitting on somebody. That comes to like debates, sports, conversations that are going to cause some form of, they got the keyboard warriors are on the internet ready to dive in on you while they behind this keyboard. But when in person, you see the same person, the energy ain't the same. What gives them that bravery over the internet, knowing they're going to have to see you in person and you're going to have to come with them same facts and the same energy you came with on the internet?
Because you can't see these hands.
You can't see.
Like, there's a lot of safety behind sitting at home on your keyboard, like sitting inside the comforts of your own space.
It's allowed so much comfort to talk shit and cancel people. Now people can do it from behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
They ain't even got to be in your face to ruin your life no more.
Right.
They can do that shit on keyboard. And that goes along with the whole, like, what has social media done? Social media has allowed people to have a mouth on them that they write they ass a check write a check they ask out of cash or something like that.
They can't cash.
You got yeah.
Some of these people don't have these hands, and like you say something to the wrong person, they see you like when they say it's on site.
Yeah,
they gonna find you on site, bro, and it's gonna be a problem
politically, religiously. Mm-hmm. All these debates that we've been having over the internet with people have gotten to a point where I've lost friendships over the internet, not in person. Because in person, you can feel a person's compassion. Right. You can kind of feel, okay, I get where you're coming from. Maybe you understand it from this perspective because you were maybe raised a certain way, or you understand it a little bit different than me. That's the face-to-face communication. Over the internet, though, it looks like you bickering with somebody, and now people are chiming in, and now it's a war now on a timeline.
I think some of it has to do with emotion.
A lot. Right?
Because like when you read stuff, right, you read it with like your thought process and your emotions behind it.
Every time.
Right? So it's just like, oh, this person sounds angry when they might not even actually be angry
at all. There's no tone behind the text.
Exactly.
There's no tone behind the text.
So you have to put something behind it. Like, oh, you said something emotional right here. And, like, and you added it and like
I throw exclamations, capital letters.
And now you're enraged because this. So you say something back. And
this person having a... Well, the reason is because of this right here, blah, 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 blah. They're calm with it, but you reading it like, well, this is how I fucking go. And now we done got ourselves into a debacle. I've caught myself in that many a times. Mm-hmm. It's what led me to get a podcast because I have so many different just opinions. Not that I was going to be dropping factual shit about like, well, here's the statistics of who voted for. I don't really care to know. All I really honestly was saying on my Facebook post was my opinion. People, they tend to forget that social media is just a platform for you to say what you're thinking.
Right.
That's it.
That's why Facebook says like, what's on your mind?
What's on your mind? That's all it is what's on your mind. People will judge the shit out of you for you just saying what's on your mind.
Actually, I had a post about that. I call it a Robinson Revelation, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, no one actually wants you to be yourself. Everyone just wants you to fit in.
Man, what?
Yeah. Like
capitalize that.
That's
going to be, I'm going to have to put that as one of my new captions. That's the truth though, bro. Nobody wants you to be yourself. They either want you to be who they see you as. Mm-hmm. And if you're not that way, they're going to judge the shit out of you, man. And I'm almost confused. Like, at what point do we need to become something other than who I originally am? Well, you used to never like to talk like this or listen like this. That's because you only knew the internet side of me.
Exactly.
This isn't reality. Social media is reality. I can post what really happened, but what you see ain't my everyday reality. You only see what I choose to show you.
Snapshot.
That's it.
Snapshot.
You got a version of my day. You don't have a clue what else went through the rest of that day. Mm-hmm. So I do agree, man. I think people are trying to create a version of you that they see, and then when you live anything outside of that, that's when they got an issue with you or with what you're saying, how you're living, when they don't even necessarily know down to the nitty gritty what it is you're doing.
Yeah, it's just like having like 15 minutes mess up your entire day. Like there's 24 hours in a day.
24 hours.
Someone will say something on social media for you'll get into a little debate for like 10 minutes and it'll mess up your entire day. Why?
It'd be hot too.
Why?
Because like you said, emotions. We get our emotions involved with a whole lot of, I don't want to say unnecessary because a lot of this shit be relevant. Right. I'm going to be real. I don't know how you feel about Black Lives Matter. Okay. I don't know how you feel about the protest. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've ever actually talked about it, but I partaked in a lot of that stuff. I went to the protests and I went to the, none of the like rallies, and we didn't burn shit down. All that was misconstrued. And did it happen? It happened. Was it with the group I was with? Absolutely not. Fuck, I look like burning shit down. I got to go home and eat.
Right.
Me voicing my opinion on that on the internet, that was only a glimpse of what people, they saw that, whatever I supported, and they went with that little column that I posted. Mm-hmm. They didn't actually open the message up and read how I felt about it as a whole. So that being misconstrued, I stopped speaking publicly about how I feel on certain topics like that. The Roe versus Wade verdict. Ooh. The Roe versus Wade verdict, and we're going to definitely tap into that too. But that's something I openly haven't discussed on Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that. Because I already know whatever I say, you can't say something that's going to please everybody.
You cannot.
Something's going to piss one crowd off. There's more than one side. It's not just Democratic or Republican views on things. Mm-hmm. There's people who don't give a fuck and a half, but there's their opinion on what they believe. And then there's the independent side. There's all types of opinions out there. For me, I want to make sure I say something that's just an opinion, and I don't want to argue about it. I don't want nobody under my comments saying, this is the type of person he is, you must vote for something. This ain't got nothing to do with vote. It's honestly an opinion. And I should be able to voice that shit however I want. That's why I use this platform instead of a keyboard. It's because now you can get a more authentic feel on how I feel about that shit. Wouldn't you agree, or do you still feel like social media is a decent place to have those conversations?
I'd rather have them in person, like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, social media is just not the place to do stuff, right?
I'm starting to learn that slowly.
Yeah,
I really am.
It just is. It's like shows and no one ever wants to show you like the bad that happens in their life, and I think that's what's wrong with social media, right? Is everyone focuses on the good stuff. They're like, hey, I took a trip to Cabo, or I did this.
Yeah.
Went to Dubai, flew out here, right? What about like, hey man, like I just lost this person, or whatever. Like this stuff happened to me. No one
You know what happens when people do too much of the real shit that hurts? People start complaining. Oh, every time they get on social media, they complaining. Yeah. Oh, every time they get on Facebook, they talking about their man. Or every time they get on Instagram, they talking about they financial situation. That's just them being raw. That's just them being real. Those are the people you probably should reach out to and say, like, they need some help. Like, yeah, okay, you're doing a good job maintaining, but like this is their reach out. I do see people trying to do it, but there's way more people posting more of the good stuff. I agree with you. And only the good stuff.
Right. But the bad stuff can teach you stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They say a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
So if you post something about, hey, man, this is what I went through, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
right? And I can find myself in a situation like that,
yeah,
I won't make the same mistake. And I think a lot of people...
That's dope.
A lot of people forget about stuff like that.
It's dope that you think that way. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, like... A lot of people don't think about stuff like that because they're too busy criticizing about like, hey, this person is posting like this. It doesn't matter what they're posting about, right? They like it's their outlet.
Yes.
Right. And that's what it boils down to.
Did you ever see me posting on Facebook when I had a whole moment where I was posting a whole bunch of mental health stuff. Like I was going through it for a little while. And in the middle, right before my divorce, I was posting like mental health awareness. Hey, you know, for people out there that are struggling, here's some helpful tips, advice, little jot. My podcast, when I first started, first 4 or 5 episodes were mainly about mental health, ways you can cope with mental health, different things you can do, different mental health, anxieties and worries and stressors that people deal with. Because like you said, I'm not posting this to say, hey world, look at me, here's what I'm going through, pity me. But I can provide a more comfortable environment for people who deal with it to cope with. Damn, this dude has an issue. Let me listen in on his podcast. I might be able to take in something that could benefit me later on down the road. So I ain't got to live through this bullshit when I just heard my he just went through the same shit or similar shit. That's why I post the negative stuff. Not that mental health is negative, but it's something that a lot of people, because it ain't boosting their serotonin, they don't care to click on it. But it ain't for everybody.
You're right. And a lot of people of color, they tend to frown upon it and like going to get help and stuff like that. They going to get help. Me, I listen. I hear you. Right?
You ready to go there?
Not this time. We'll
you ready to go there?
We'll save it for another one. Save it for another time, right? Like, but I think that is a huge thing in the people of color realm. Is that like it's just bad to go get help, and it's not. It's not. And like you can be weak, man.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's okay. It's okay to be weak. Like
it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel defeated. Don't accept defeat.
There's only so many showers you can take though.
Get your head busted and clean that shit up.
Yeah.
And become much better people. Now, I know we crunched on time, so we're gonna definitely tap into this Roe versus Wade thing. But first, I want to say yes, I do agree. Our platform should be used to say good things, bad things, and help people in any way you can. Just provide them with something that they can relate to, an outlet they can reach out to get help on shit.
Right.
That's how I view social media. I am the type of person that's gonna be. I'm not going to speak to you if I ain't never spoke to you before, but if I know you on social media, you're right. They exist, and I'm one of them. And I'm one of them, bro, because there's so many people that intimidate me because I don't want to look like the dude who's like, hey, I know you're on social media. Can you say hi to me? It's cool. You'll speak when you want to speak. I'll let people, it's a vibration thing. We will come across each other's paths when we get there, but I'm not going to go out of my way to say something to you if I don't get the vibe that you even care to speak to me, even though we follow each other and know each other. So I am one of those.
Vibe check, baby.
Roe versus Wade.
All right, let's get into it.
So Roe versus Wade just passed a verdict.
Okay.
They just passed a verdict that now they're leaving it up to the states to determine whether or not women. Yeah.
I find it ironic, right?
Okay.
Like the very thing that puts men on child support is the very thing that stops you.
Ooh.
That decides if you're able to have an abortion or not.
Explain.
The state.
Okay.
Right? At the end of the day, if like a woman wants a dude to be on child support, they go to the state about it, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And boom, right? Child support.
Okay.
Right now, it's like, oh, it's up to the state. Depends what state you're in.
Yeah. To determine whether or not you get to keep the baby.
Yes.
Are you on board with that? Are you on board with the state being in charge, or are you on board with each individual person determining how and when they want to reproduce and allow us to still take precautions, and not precautions, but pills and different types of other medical techniques to get rid of said babies after a certain week, month, or ever?
Let me start by saying this. I am pro-choice, right?
Okay.
I believe that every woman should have the right to choose, right? And I think they went about this the wrong way, right? Instead of taking away women's rights, I think they should have added men's, right?
Ooh, like how?
So there's so many women out there that's baiting men into having kids, right?
And that shit we don't see.
Think about the Drake incident, right? Men should be able to say, hey, I don't want this kid.
I don't want it.
Right? Sign away all financial rights, whatever. Boom. Before the baby's born. Like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Okay.
This, that, and the third.
Because it was an option.
It was an option.
It was painless. Like
it was
no bodies were affected other than an unborn baby, which I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that some people aren't financially ready. Mm-hmm. Some people aren't mentally ready. Everybody's having sex. Everybody's fucking. There's no secret. It ain't even like hidden no more. It's in movies. They don't put it in. It's all over the place. Yeah. So we know that people are reproducing. Why would they take away what keeps us from overpopulating each other, knowing that we're going to have all these kids having kids that they can't raise and that they can't like provide a shelter for, none of this. So they're going to end up in the foster care. They're going to end up in the system. Mm-hmm. They're going to end up, all it is going to be creating a bigger mess that we already got. I wonder why they chose right now to take that away. Of all the times to take that shit away, why in the middle of a depression or on the way to a depression/recession?
I don't know why, but like the thought process on I think it's accountability.
Okay.
Right? Accountability for women. Right? If you really think about it, like this is going to sound real bad. Right? I already know it is.
Hit us with it.
But women are not accountable for shit.
Ooh.
Right? Think about it. If they gain too much weight and they become like fat or obese, they're like protected. Right? They're like, hey, plus size. Men are just called fat. If I see a guy out there, I'm like, oh, he's fat.
Yeah.
You see a woman, you can't call him fat.
Guys,
she's plus size. Yeah. Protected from it. Right?
Okay. What else? Okay.
This is now saying, hey, we're gonna hold you accountable. Right? For the people you sleep with. No more one night stand. You can't do these things that you were doing, right? Now, statistically speaking, right? Only like
that's so weird. They were making money off abortions though. It wasn't that like anything was taken away from anybody. If anything, that put more money into the state's pockets. Now that you're taking that away, are you replacing it with something? Or like is condom sales going up? Or did they just finally wake up and say, nah, I'm tired of abortions? Or were people taking advantage of it and killing like after 6 months of being pregnant, getting an abortion? Is that what was happening? I'm confused.
Of people that were having abortions, I would say 75%. Don't quote me the numbers now.
Gotcha.
I would say like 75% of the people that were really just out there wilding, right? Whether it was just like financial, like we're talking about, I think it says 1 in 6 females experience like sexual assault, right?
Okay.
And like if all of them got pregnant, like that's a big percentage. And like some of the other different types of pregnancies, like mishaps and like, I think that equals out to about 25%. Okay. Now the other 75, they were out there wilding. They were out there wilding and like, they're like, I can't have this right now. Why are you out here wilding? If you know that's not, because like at the end
this
of the
is
day,
why they're wilding, because abortions were legal, and they knew they could go get one down the street for $500. Not that I'm counting. I'm really not, but we get it. We know. We read. We got friends and people in places who don't need babies and don't have babies for that reason.
Right.
Now they kind of changing the game. Does it affect us men like super personally?
No. It doesn't.
I mean, it does though.
Oh.
It could.
They're making male birth control now. Mm-hmm. So it's pumping men.
Where you find this at?
They've always been trying to control population. Turn men, transvestites, this. So you can go down a rabbit hole. Now it's illegal. Now they're going to push.
Something's got to be.
The accountability on men to get birth control.
So you know how for every action there's an opposite or equal reaction. Mm-hmm. If they taking that away, something's coming.
But let's talk about this.
Some new rules going to be put in place, or new type of device, or some type of something has to replace it. That was big for it to only affect women for now.
For now.
For it to only affect women for now. Go ahead.
Why are we not giving kids or like kids like my kid had a vasectomy, not a vasectomy, but like a circumcision.
Circumcision.
Born, right? Why are we not giving these people the same boys vasectomies?
Whoa.
Right. And
As a baby?
As a baby.
Why
right?
would you
Because
do that?
hear me
Go ahead.
out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a reversible procedure,
Yes, it is.
right? If it's done when they're born, right? They get out there, you can slang whatever, and all you gotta worry about is like these STDs out there. You don't gotta worry about babies.
Okay.
Right? And like whenever you tell you like, you know what, it's time for me to settle down, it's time for us to have kids, boom, reverse it, and like you had your kids.
I don't know if a young kid is even they don't even have that, like their balls ain't even like ready to produce that shit, right?
I don't know, man. Look,
Well, because we can't even, nothing works until you about 10, 13 or
something like that.
something around that area,
something like-
11.
something like that. But I'm saying like, why are we not giving these kids that? You put these like
You do that?
Huh?
You do it
A vasectomy?
for the little man?
Yeah,
For sure?
100%, man. Like,
Is there any rule stopping you from doing that? Because if you could, because if you could and you did, I, as a dad and a male, would be interested to see, did that work? But we'll never know.
and you'll never.
Because we get circumcised and it hurts too. From what I've heard, I didn't feel
You
it.
didn't feel it.
So if you
definitely-
vasectomize a child and that takes, they say 12 years or 13, 14 years before, you can guarantee your child you're not finna have a kid again.
not
Not until you or it's reconnected itself.
exactly. So why not like do this for men, right? Because getting your tubes tied for women is like a longer procedure. And
How
stuff
many
like
moms you know gonna agree on doing that with their babies though?
that. Doesn't matter.
Well, the dad's got to say and the mom's got to say, but I think
I don't think dads have a say, right?
it's just not. It's not valuable. We can have an opinion, but we know how that's gonna go, and that's not up for debate. We already know exactly how that's gonna go. But yeah, I think that the women of our world that we live in today, my situation, I don't think the women were too affected by it because they're not one of the wild ones out there. But for the wild ones out there, they took a L because now they are having to be held accountable. But I don't understand why it had to get that far. You get what I'm saying? It ain't like we got too many dead babies or something. If anything, we have too many babies. If anything, I'm okay with them pushing male birth control. I'm okay with them having abortions out there. I'm okay with the Plan B. It don't affect me.
Right.
But for some people out there, they need that shit. Accidents happen all the time. As a single male out here, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want a whole bunch of kids.
Right.
But I don't want to stop having sex for the rest of my life either.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
But you could get a vasectomy.
But I gotta wait 10 years before I have another one. With a male birth control, just stop taking a pill or shot or whatever device.
You know when you're done, right? Like I know right now I have 2 kids, boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
I don't want anymore. I'm done.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go get a vasectomy.
You gonna get you one?
Yeah, because like, hey, I don't want anymore, and that's one of the only things that's gonna help me stop. Right. Like,
At least we have the option to get the vasectomy so that we can't have kids. Just like women have the option to get birth controls so where they can't have kids.
to choose.
I just hate how it was a group of random, I'll say men at a table. Wouldn't you say the Senate is majority
Yes.
men at the table? Who said, we're going to take abortion away and leave it up to the state, knowing that majority of the states are not. Again, some states are cool with it. And if you do need a abortion or if you feel like that's something that you absolutely have to have, you can still get it. I just think you got to drive to whatever state approves it or some shit like that. But I don't know if they do it based on your residency, like are they a resident of the state? I don't know. I don't know any of that.
You just take yourself to another.
But I will say, women, now is the time to hold yourselves accountable because they not playing.
They not.
And in the state of Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken,
Y'all not getting it.
they're not getting it
Not
here.
getting it.
Yeah,
I hate to
you're
tell
not-
y'all that it's a wrap for y'all in Tennessee.
Now, is it a couple? Is it like I was trying to ask? Is it a couple months? Is it like
I mean, they mean all of them.
so as soon as you're pregnant? Can you be like a week pregnant and be like, hey,
I don't think you know that. You don't know it like that.
you don't even know?
Right.
And I got 2 kids too, 2.5. So you already know I should know this by now, but I ain't had too many abortions. Like I said, it really ain't that. It hasn't affected me crazily,
Right.
but I've seen it affect a whole lot of people, especially on social media. I know there's protests and the women's rights movements and everything. I haven't kept up with it too crazy. Again, it's not something I'm super familiar with, but I see them, I hear them, and all I can say is prepare yourself. hold yourself more accountable, or continue to talk to the different states, continue to talk to legislation, voting, or whatever it is that you can do to change it. But at the same time, throw a condom on. Throw a condom on. Is Plan B still a thing, or is that part of the abortion talk?
No, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. No one knows their body more than women.
Yeah.
Right? Not one person. So like they're the security, they're top flight security for whether they get pregnant or not. Like at the end of the day, women control sex.
Women feel like their rights are getting stripped from them. One, because now they've lost that Wade versus Roe, or Roe versus Wade. One. Two, with the new LGBTQ community and what it is now, what it entails, a lot of women feel like they're being somewhat replaced by the people who are identifying as women now. So then there's that. Women feel like they're taking an L in this society, like they don't have a voice again, and they're going to become the new group that is going to be that BLM. They're going to be that loud group that's next. It was BLM. Then it was LGBTQ. Now it's going to be all these women in America. Is there a pattern? Do you see a pattern? Am I missing something, or is it going to be a continuation? It's a wavelength.
I'm going to call it, look, I don't know all the letters in the community.
Yeah.
So just the alphabet community.
The alphabet.
Right now. The alphabet community, right? They've gotten entirely too powerful, right?
I had this conversation the other day, and another episode, we're going to talk about it. No, I'm interested.
They've gotten entirely too powerful, right?
So fast.
Quickly.
We still trying to get rights for black folks, bro.
and they easily just snatched their
jumped in and
was able to do it.
There's rules written for them now.
Right now, so
them.
Are we heading that?
They're a pronoun now, so
I'm
I'm playing the game.
Too strong.
I'm just, already.
It's too
I'm
strong.
playing the game.
I'm not saying. Look,
I'm playing the game. I ain't hating.
It's too strong. So no, I think women are gonna be just fine.
They're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I think.
Continue to fight. Voice what you feel is wrong, but continue to fight for the most part.
The problem is that like they don't voice what they think is wrong until it's happened. It's over.
Are the women in your life affected by this to the point to where it's caused like controversial debate within the household?
The abortion thing?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. I don't know because I ain't got a woman in the house.
No.
But everything's cool. So for the most part, it's just like it's fucked up. But
I've had this. I mean, my wife has definitely been on the forefront of like protests and stuff like that, and like in her and everything. But like,
and she's educated too. She is nice woman.
Yes. She's wonderful. I love.
What do you plan on doing as far as like as a dad teaching your son? Now that we're watching all of this stuff happen and all these things change, all these rules change, being that we have children of our own, what are you doing now to prepare yourself or your family for all these new changes that's happening?
You can't. There's nothing you can do.
You trying to run to is there another state? Are you a political family?
No.
Me either.
To me.
Ruins shit.
To me, we're out here preparing our kids for something that will no longer exist. Right? Like, strictly, because that's what my mom did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every other parent did.
Yeah.
Like they prepared them for like, hey, this is the world that I know. Right? But like, what we know won't be the same in 20 years.
And 30 years from now.
Yeah. So like that's where we're at right now. So like there's nothing I can do except I just want my kid to be a good human. Both my kids should be a good human and just be happy.
I agree with that.
If I can put them on that path, then I've done a good job.
Hell yeah. I just remember you saying she's like at the forefront of a lot of the protests and she's like, all right, so what y'all teaching? Is that more so y'all handling it as adults, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
The kids don't even stay in it because it's going to change by the time they get older. That makes sense. It's kind of how I feel about it, but I'm very open with my oldest child because she's seeing different stuff now. She's noticing that she has a different treatment than a lot of other people. And hey, I just had to explain to her and to my oldest son what's going on, my only son, what's going on in the world and how things are going to be different. You can't do the same thing everybody else do. You're going to be viewed differently that way. Right. And here's why. That's about as far as I'll go, but I won't go into like major details that will get crazy political with kids. But when you mentioned that, I wondered how that went in y'all's household with her being so at the forefront and you being so verbal. Me and you've had conversations that a lot of people can't have.
Right.
Because we can agree to disagree on a lot of shit. A lot of people, you can't have open conversations with them about certain stuff because it's going to turn into an argument or an uneducated, like, opinion-throwing debacle. So I appreciate that we can have that talk, man. And also, I want to thank you for being on the show with me today, man. We're going to wrap this up.
All right.
But you
Appreciate
got
you
anything
having
you
me.
want to say, man, on camera? Give a shout out.
No, I
Want to
think
give a shout out to my mama?
Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my wife Carol. You know what I'm saying? My mom Sylvia. My sisters who helped me out. Big sister Tara. You
You got to get them to check the show out. Get them to
check the show out. They all gonna see it. They all gonna see it.
Look, I'm gonna apologize in advance. We're gonna make the audio sound as best we can, but like I said, we had a little hiccup earlier, and we're gonna do everything we can to make sure the audio came back and that it sounds good. But I appreciate you having me. I'll be damned. I appreciate you being on the show, man. And we're gonna definitely chop it up again. But thanks for rolling with your boy Rock. Y'all hold it down. Peace.